LoreWarrior Navy? Monitor naval vessel. Overview. Though most planets in the Ionosphere are water poor, many of the heavily populated or industrialized worlds tend to be water rich. Large population and industrial centers often spring up along rivers and deltas. River commerce becomes a major factor in the economic growth of the planet and thus becomes a target for military action. Swamps and deltas also provide refuge to guerrillas and any remnants of whatever army last occupied the planet, because mechs and other land-bound vehicles find such terrain impassable. To control these vital arteries of commerce and to deny guerrillas a sanctuary, planetary garrisons use heavily armed river and coastal patrol craft. For the most part, these craft are little more than field conversions of commercial riverboats. Some specially designed patrol craft have entered service, and the Monitor produced by naval is an example of just such a surface naval vessel. Capabilities. In commercial interstellar trade, a planet usually imports only the components that it cannot manufacture locally to produce a particular item. For example, a planet with a viable light industrial base might only import computer chips and monitors, with its local firms manufacturing keyboards and housings. Later on, all the components are assembled to produce personal computers. Though this subassembly method of production is very cost-efficient, it has only rarely been used to produce armaments. Naval decided that if this practice was so successful for the commercial product, it might also work well for its naval patrol vessels. The company markets the Monitor in kit form to planets available to manufacture a standard displacement hull and to supply the necessary internal combustion engine and power system. The nav hull kit contains armor plating, communications package, complete navalized demolisher turret, and detailed instructions on how to assemble the kit on a variety of different hull shapes. The Monitor is a formidable craft. Drawing only half a meter of water, it can freely travel through many river channels that more conventional craft couldn't navigate. The armor plating is proof against any type of weapon, whether wielded by guerrillas or mechs. Its two 185mm cannon are able to sink another vessel in a single salvo, and for close defense in the confines of a narrow river, the vessel carries 3 sets of SRM-2s. The Monitor, though, is a slow craft, with a top speed of only 54 kph. Though this is sufficient to overhaul most commercial barges and rivercraft, a faster guerrilla ship might be able to outdistance it. For this reason, the Monitor carries a reinforced squad of jump troops. If needed, the jump troops can launch directly up from their compartment via deck hatches. As Naval's Monitor kits have sold so well, the firm do intend to expand into other forms of naval vessel. Battle history. Monitor duty can be rather boring and definitely non-heroic, for no great glory usually comes from sitting behind 1 meter of armor plate and blasting a wooden barge to kindling. One Monitor has managed to achieve quite a reputation for its brief career, however. In mid-3025, a full-scale rebellion broke out on the Kurita-occupied world of Vertandi. In the first month of the rebellion, a Kurita Monitor named the Vengeance was docked at Port Gaspin. When a load of food and ammunition arrived, the stevedores carried it aboard. These dock workers were actually a rebel squad under the leadership of Francis Marion, most recently an art student at the University of Regis. Francis and her men overpowered the Kurita crew and steamed upriver in the Vengeance. Over the next 3 months, Marion and the now renamed Swamp Fox terrorized Kurita troops trying to restore order to the Sylvan Basin. The Swamp Fox might be seen coming out of the morning fog to shell a Kuritan warehouse or troop barracks. Troops using the captured jump packs would land in the midst of a Kurita morning formation, kill the troops, and then rocket out before the enemy could react. Within 4 months, the basin and the river were totally in rebel hands, leaving only the city of Regis still in the hands of the Combine. The Swamp Fox and Francis Marion were killed just before the start of the new year, however. The Draconis Combine had ordered in 4 mech regiments and 12 regiments of supporting infantry to put down the rebellion. Their first order of business was to destroy the Swamp Fox. With a supply depot near the river to serve as bait, as the Swamp Fox came into firing range, 4 mechs that had been hidden underwater stood up, blocking all retreat. In the ensuing battle, 2 Kuritan marauders were destroyed, and 1 Shadowhawk crippled, but in the end, however, the Swamp Fox and her crew were sent to the bottom. Notable vehicles and crew. Francis Marion and the Swamp Fox. Francis Marion was an art student at the University of Regis when the rebellion on Vertandi broke out. Shocked and angered by the atrocities committed by the Kurita garrison troops during the riots in Regis, she joined the rebellion. After returning to her native city, which was located in the Sylvan Basin, Frances and some of her friends captured a Kurita Monitor-class patrol vessel, which they named the Swamp Fox. Marion became a legend during the 4 months that it operated in the Delta. Indeed, the first mission of the newly arrived Kurita Met regiments was to destroy her and the vessel. Unlike the heroines of other epic tales, this one did not survive her final battle. Apparently she's surprised by the atrocities or the harsh hand of Kurita being a Kuritan citizen. I'm surprised that she wasn't aware of that fucking thing. But here we go. The naval monitor vessel, or the monitor naval vessel, or the vessel naval monitor, whatever you want. It's a 75-ton vehicle, surface naval, obviously. Power plant 195. Nissan. Let's not get confused in this one. Naval diesel, as it says here in the book, rather than diesel. Okay, that's great. It has a cruiser 32, a flanker 54, armor as nav plate, has two 185mm Chemjet guns, an interesting name for an AC-20, and 3 Sure-Shot Mark II SRM packs, manufactured by Nav Hulls Incorporated, communication system as an Omicron 1500, and targeting and tracking as an Omicron 7. It is capable of 3 and 5 movement. Let's see, where is the armor? It has 22 on the front, 22 on the sides, 22 on the back, and 40 on the turret. Not surprising considering it's a demolisher tank turret that's put onto a boat. So it has a single turret with the 2 AC-20s in it, with an SRM-2 facing right, 1 left, and 1 rear, so it can shoot in all directions at least. It has 50 shots for the SRMs, and 15 shots for the AC-20 in the hull of the vessel. It says the body, and then you've got the jump troops, which count as a weapon. But I don't really know how you would... I roll my jump troops, ding, they bounce off the enemy. Because you'd need, obviously, the infantry rules, and trust me, those fuckers are a little bit fiddly. It's one of those units where it has a thing that then you have to open up a different book to check the rules for how that works when you're already using a vehicle book for the rules for the boat and all the rest of it. Yeah, you won't see many, if ever, see a fucking boat used in any MechWarrior or other digital BattleTech adaptations. They're just so few and far between, and let's face it, most people just... They're fine with tanks, they're fine with VTOLs, but, I mean, a boat is just... Yeah, it's rarely seen. However, it would be funny as all hell to go around in a game like Living Legends or Living Legends 2 or any other mod that had it, just pootering around in a little boat, just firing an AC-20 at people and them not realising just how bleeding deadly this thing would be. It's like a pair of AC-20 starts schwacking you, and that's the last thing you expect. But yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah, I've covered a boat or two before in Lore Warriors, but they are very few and far between. You're never going to get a source book, like submarines and boats of the Succession Wars or something like that. It's just not worth writing about. But it was nice of them in the early books to actually have a few different vehicles that would have covered certain aspects of warfare still, such as this. I don't think they ever did anything like battleships or anything like that, though. It's, that kind of era of warfare was long since done with. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Kit bashed naval vessel. So even this artwork probably is what one of many different variants of it would look like. They all have the similar kind of setup with the SRMs and the AC-20s, but the actual hull of the vessel might have looked very different depending on which planet it was being used on, who was using it, kind of thing. So I think literally any kind of boat model would be appropriate if you wanted to, because you could just say, yeah, that's my monitor naval vessel. It looks like a barge, but it's got a gun on it, kind of thing. So it's a bit different, at least. But anyway, that's enough ramble. Gotta go look at one of these Nissan diesel engines. They must be quite a thing. I'm sure they're coming in the future. Oh, can't wait for those. That new diesel technology. Oh, what will they come up with next?